eventually. Good afternoon, everybody. How are we all?
Hi, everyone. Hello. Happy April
Introduce
Fool's
yourselves.
Day.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Tell us
who
where
you
you're
are.
from, what school who you are, what you like, anything really. Just spice
What you're wearing.
it up a bit.
Wearing. Yeah, tell us anything.
Kate and I are both with burgundy today.
Not planned. Not planned at all.
It wasn't.
We're connected.
Kate, so tell us a bit. Who are you, Kate?
Oh God, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea at all. Who am I? So I'm Kate, and I'm currently in Florence at the moment. I'm not from Florence. I'm English. I'm from the south of England. I was born in Dorset. I'm from the south. I'm as south as they get. Any more south, and you get very, very wet. I'm from my area, my region. In English, we call them counties. In my county, my county is called Dorset. So it's right in the center, right in the south. It's very, very beautiful, but it's not very famous. But it's lovely.
And what are they famous for in Dorset?
Oh, we are famous for many things. Fossils. Love a fossil in Dorset. In fact, actually very famous for the geology, the coast and the cliffs, and the general landscape in Dorset is famous because there were a lot of bones, like dinosaur bones, and fossils in general found there. So
old things.
Old things, old people, lots of old people in Dorset, and a Dorset cream tea. That's what we're famous for. Have you ever eaten a Dorset cream tea, Giordie?
Because that varies. It's not the Cornish tea, is it? It differs.
Oh, it's certainly not. It's certainly not. Guys who are watching, you need to Google image or any other browser. You need to find an image of a Dorset cream tea. It's the most delicious thing. They are small, sweet cakes, and you cover them in jam and in clotted cream, very, very thick cream. And you eat them with a cup of tea.
This is the difference between Cornish and was it Cornwall and Devon?
Devon and Dorset cream teas. Yes.
It was the order that you put it in. One was jam and then clotted cream, and one was clotted cream and then jam.
The correct order is cream and then jam. Okay? Because the cream is like the butter. So you put the cream on like butter, then the jam. Okay? It's a very obvious, very simple cream, then jam. This is a Dorset cream tea. Those heathens in Devon, they put jam, then cream, but they're wrong. So anyway, Dorset cream tea and fossils, these are what we're famous for. And you, Giordie, where are you from and where are you at the moment?
I'm from London, the big city of England, you know. We're famous for...
Whereabouts in London? Which part?
North London.
Oh, North London. The posh bit.
Well, it depends, but we're famous for I don't know, Camden Market, which is a rather underground space. We're famous for busy workers, rude people but polite people. And now I live in Milan. I've lived in Milan since 2015 now. Yep, 5 years. So 5 years in Milan, 2 months in quarantine. We're all good.
Losing my mind.
Let's have a look. We've got Fabrizio with us from Rome. Hello, Fabrizio.
Hi, Fabrizio.
And we've also got Lucia from Naples.
Oh, Naples. I love Naples. Such a fantastically weird city. I love it so much. I love Rome as well. Rome as well. But Naples is fantastically weird. I spent 24 hours in Naples, and it was one of the strangest 24 hours of my life. It was a very interesting city, and I'd love to go back and spend a little more time there. But it was fantastic. It was great. Have you been to Naples, Giordie?
I've been to Naples and I've been to Rome. Sorry, guys. In the meantime, Lucia and Fabrizio, tell us a bit about yourselves. What are you doing right now? Yes, I've been to Rome twice. One was very nice, the first time. The second time, I'm afraid I got sent in the wrong direction quite a few times when I asked for directions. But
no.
a beautiful city.
Okay,
Naples,
yeah.
on the other hand, is fantastic,
Yes,
beautiful, amazing, but
yes.
it's so chaotic.
So
Um,
chaotic.
I,
Yes,
I
yes,
got a little bit
crazy.
nervous when you're walking down a road and a scooter goes past quickly, and you're like,
Mm,
oh, "What am I doing?"
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Lucia, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I really do. I will. I promise I will come back one day. One day. When the lockdown is finished, Naples is number 1 on my list. I will return, I promise. I can't I still dream about the pizza. I still dream about the pizza I had in Naples. It was the best pizza of my life. So I will return, I promise, Lucia. I promise.
so, Kate, you were saying earlier that today is a different day to the rest. What is today?
So today is April Fool's Day. Do you know? Have you
Oh,
heard of April
what is
Fool's
that?
Day? Ooh, well, April
I
Fool's
think I
Day.
have, yeah.
So April Fool's Day is and I feel bad because probably I should learn the origin of this day. I don't know the origin, but April Fool's Day is always April the 1st, and it's a day in Anglo-Saxon culture where we are intentionally trying to trick each other. Usually on this day, we play a lot of pranks. So
Okay.
to play a prank is when you do you make a joke or you create a situation where another person is embarrassed or where they laugh because they didn't expect something to happen. So, oh, I've
So,
found
guys,
some.
it would be very similar if I was playing an April Fool's prank. I would have said to Kate, "Yes, I'll be doing this webinar with,"
No, terrible. Oh, no.
and that's when you would say
This
April
is,
Fools.
oh
I
no, this is
actually,
an
I actually
excellent
looked,
prank.
I actually looked up earlier. The first
Oh
April
yeah.
Fool's prank on record in the UK was in the
Yes.
1600s when they sold tickets and got people to go to the Tower of London for the lion washing.
No. Oh, that's
Yes, and
amazing.
there are no lions. There was no washing of said lions, but yeah, that was the pranks
That's
back in those days.
amazing. That's very clever. I like that. I think that's really funny. There was a very famous video made a few years ago. I'm sure you've seen it, Giordie. The BBC made a video. In fact, usually on April the 1st, the BBC
Hmm.
show some video or something on the TV which looks really genuine, but in fact, it's not real. It's a big joke. And a few years ago, they showed a short documentary about the people who grow spaghetti. So they
Yeah, wasn't it
showed
in
all of these.
Switzerland, I think?
That's right, yes. So they showed all these trees and they had spaghetti coming down from the tree and people going and removing the spaghetti, like the spaghetti farmers. So many people were calling the BBC like, oh, where can I buy a spaghetti tree? I want to grow a spaghetti tree. But it was a prank. It was a joke. So
It's a shame, though.
it's a shame. Can you
Um,
imagine a spaghetti tree? Oh, it would be
spaghetti tree.
amazing. I would love a spaghetti tree.
So we've got Fabrizio, who said he's a lawyer and he's working at home in these days.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, me too. Me too, Fabrizio.
yeah. Okay, so
Fantastic.
let's start. Kate, what are we
Woohoo!
doing?
We are continuing in the theme of jokes, and
The
today we are looking.
theme.
This is a strong theme with us, and we are looking today at focus activity 10 to 13 comedy. Yes.
Ooh.
So,
So,
comedy. In this focus activity, a look at humor in English, telling jokes, different styles of comedy.
Okay, so we got Lucia
Ooh,
here. We used to enjoy the April Fool's Day in Italy too. When I was a child, my grandma gave us a chocolate fish. So
a chocolate
remember,
fish.
instead of give,
Gave,
it's
gave,
gave. But
gave.
yeah, did you know, Kate, in
That's
Italy,
amazing.
it's not April
Yeah.
Fool's Day, it's April's fish.
Is that right? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's amazing. April's Fish Day. Is there? Do you know the reason? I want to.
I don't. You
That's
know,
amazing.
maybe it's
Wow.
one of
Well,
those
there you
things that
go.
you chuck a fish and if any of you guys know why it's April's fish in Italy, please let us know because I'm actually quite curious now.
Yeah,
Um,
very, very curious. Yeah. I'm very, very, very curious. Fish Day. Okay. All right, wonderful. So, okay, Giordie, are you a comedy fan? Do you like watching comedy films? Do you like watching comedians like on television doing routines? Or do you enjoy comedy?
I do. I do enjoy it very much. There are many different types of comedy, we'll put it that way. I'm not a fan of what they would call, let's say, slapstick. So
Ooh,
Laurel
that's
and
a great word.
Hardy
Yeah.
going, ha, hitting people and la la la. I'm more for a situational comedy kind of person. And I have many comedians that I like. I'm a big fan, which is a very, let's say, it's a very British comedian with a British humor, which is different to the rest of the
Okay.
humors of the world. Michael McIntyre.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Now Michael McIntyre, in my opinion, he is a genius of observational humor,
Yes.
right? So he talks about things that are very, very human and very universal. So he speaks about his family and he speaks about dealing with problems, traffic, and this kind of thing. So it's quite universal, which I think makes him very funny indeed.
Yeah. What about you, Kate?
So, yes, I am a big comedy fan. However, I think I have a slightly more, we could say, surreal taste in comedy. So, I am a big fan of, for example, Monty Python. I love
Okay.
Monty Python. I love a TV series like The Mighty Boosh, which was a very popular TV series when I was a teenager. But I also love the old school comedy like Faulty Towers. I grew up watching shows like Faulty Towers, like Blackadder, that kind of thing. So
Okay.
I have my father is a comedy connoisseur. He loves comedy, so he brought me up to enjoy a lot of different styles of comedy, and I love stand up. I love stand up comedians as well, like
Okay.
Michael McIntyre and so on. So yeah, lots of different
But
types.
everyone listening, tell us who your favorite comedian is while we're
Yeah.
moving on, and why do you like them? There's actually there's a very good Italian comedian, or at least I like her, is Teresa Manino, who does
Okay.
her humor is very much based on the differences between the North and the South. She is from
Okay.
Sicily, and she works in Milan, and obviously the difference. She's very funny, but obviously is in
Oh,
Italian.
fantastic. No, but
Yeah.
that's really interesting. Yeah, I think that kind of humor, certainly in Britain, often there are lots of comedians who also use the difference in different regions to center around their comedy. People from Wales or people from Scotland, or even in the north and the south of England, there is a big difference. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for everyone out there, if you don't know, so in Italy, the joke's between the north and the south. The north is basically the industrial side. The south is a lot more beautiful, in my opinion, but let's say less on the financial side. In England, generally the jokes are the other way round. That's why a lot of people hate Londoners. But don't be fooled,
Ooh.
because if you go from the north to the south, you get to London. That's part of the joke. If you go even further south, where Kate's from, there's a lot of clotted cream and beautiful. Honestly,
Listen, clotted cream is God's gift to us, okay? Clotted cream is a gift from the heavens. So, Lucia has some agreement with you, Giordie. The North is more rational too. Oh, that's controversial, Lucia. I cannot comment. I'm not Italian. Giordie is allowed to comment. Giordie has permission to speak about the Italian differences. Personally, I love all of you. You're all fantastic in Italy. Certainly.
See, that's what. So my family are from Parma. So in theory, it's the north of Italy, but then there's a debate that it's under the Po River, so it's part of the south of Italy. I'm one of those that in London, I'm Italian, so I'm a foreigner. In Italy, I'm English, so I'm a foreigner. In the north, I'm really a southerner, but in the southerner, I'm not wanted anywhere.
Nobody wants you, Giordie. Nobody wants you.
That's why I'm better online, so I can have a bit of everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, we all want a piece of you. No. You're loved and welcomed here, Giordie. Even if it's only me. I accept you. I love you.
The best place to be.
Exactly. With me. Excellent. All right. So let's look at some of these questions. So, Giordie, shall I read number 1?
Yeah, go on then.
All right. So, comedy. Number 1. Do you consider yourself a funny person with a good sense of humor? Now, guys, in the comments, as we're speaking, I'm really, really interested. Do you consider yourselves funny? Do you have a good sense of humor? Now, Giordie, personally, I think we need to talk about what does it mean to have a good sense of humor. It's a little bit controversial, I think, sometimes.
Because then it really depends what your humor is. So a good sense of humor for me might not be the same as you.
Exactly. Well, and so also sometimes we use this as an excuse to maybe be a little rude. So, for example, if someone made a comment about me and said something about, I don't know, said something like, oh, well, you're a woman, so obviously you are a bit stupid or something. If I say, that's not very funny, I don't think that's funny, then they could say, oh, come on, have a sense of humor. You need a better sense of humor. It's just a joke. So I think sometimes there is a problem. Sometimes people say, oh, it's just a joke. Have a sense of humor. Like, I do have a sense of humor, but that was rude.
It's not your one.
Exactly. So do you think you have a good sense of humor, Giordie? Do you think you're funny? Do you make people laugh?
See, it depends. So I would say I've got a good sense of humor, yes.
Okay.
Whether I'm funny or not, it depends on the joke or the situation. Some situations I am. I just do not have the ability to tell a joke. Let's just say, at least in London, we do this quite a lot. So if you can't tell a joke very well, and you have to then explain it afterwards, so blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, it's funny because this and this. There are two options that the crowd of the people listening and watching can do. You can do this. Yeah, so you've just got a balloon sort of flying away and leave the situation. Or you've got the awkward turtle. Yeah, the turtle.
Oh my goodness, yes! Oh, yes.
It's the awkward turtle, and it's the best way to get out of a bad joke.
I'm sorry, that was terrible. Bye. Yeah, I like that. That's really sweet. I used to live in Australia, and they had a similar idea of if you didn't understand a story, or if the story was not funny, or the story was just a bit boring, then the people listening, the crowd, at the end would be a pause, and someone would say, "And then you found $50?" to try and give an idea, like, and then the story was funny, and then it was good, or no, that was it. That's okay, finished, fine, okay. So,
Lucia, good point there. The only thing, instead of saying black humor, we use dark humor. So dark humor covers a bit of everything. Obviously, nobody ever encourages racism, stereotypes, things like that can offend people. Generally,
for sure. Yeah, I agree. We must remember we have different senses of humor, but I think in English we speak about the line. There is a line, and if you cross the line, maybe then you go too far. It's not funny. Now it's just rude or stupid. So as long as you don't cross the line, cool.
Okay, do you know one thing? Like being here in Italy, obviously making lots of Italian friends and everything, and obviously I had my English jokes and everything from London, and I'm a funny person. I came here. Obviously, English humor is a very dry, sarcastic humor.
Very.
Unfortunately, sarcasm does not translate well into Italian.
No, I noticed this.
Yeah, so if you say, if you just disappear and then you come back and go, oh, my computer just died, I'll go, oh, no, really? As in, I know it's obvious and that's funny.
Yeah.
If you do that in Italian, they kind of look at you and say, are you calling me stupid?
Right. Yeah, I'm not lying.
Obviously, they're two different styles that doesn't translate at all in Italian.
Yes, definitely. I think this is a big source of cultural misunderstanding. I think very, very sure. I remember once I saw Harry Potter in Germany. I went to a premiere of one of the Harry Potter films in Germany, and so everyone in the audience were German. And the film was in English, and because Germans are fantastic, they all speak English, they're extraordinary. So I was watching this film in English in a German cinema, and there were moments during the film, moments for me quite beautiful or quite emotional or sentimental, and everyone would start laughing. And I was with a friend and was like, why are they laughing at this like beautiful moment? And she was like, because it's so funny. Like, why is this funny? Apparently Germans think that emotional pain is funny. Maybe that's maybe
moving swiftly on.
Okay, so what about number 2, Giordie? Who is the funniest person you know?
See, I don't know. This would be a good mix of a bit of Kate and Sally. So Sally's our other colleague.
Sally's not funny. She's very boring. She's very, very funny. It's true.
I don't know. I wouldn't say the funniest person. It's quite hard to say, isn't it?
I think so. I think I'm very lucky because I know a lot of very funny people. So I think I'm very lucky. I don't know if I could consider one person. I think my uncle, he could be maybe the funniest person I ever knew. I never followed his mind was so he was like Robin Williams. Just
everything was there.
So funny. But I have so many funny friends. So lots of people. My family are very funny. My sister always makes me laugh so much. So yeah.
What about you guys? Who's the funniest person you know and why?
Yeah.
Is it your mum? Is it your cat? Is it your friend? Is it whatever? My cat's
my dog
quite
is
funny
very
as
funny.
well.
There you go. Yeah. Animals are very funny. So yeah. Okay, so question number 3. Yeah, what styles of humor do you know of? This is an interesting question. You mentioned one earlier. You mentioned sarcasm. How do you define sarcasm?
See, sarcasm. The definition of that, you've got me there. It's a very dry, ironic. We'll put it that way. Again, it's not used a lot in Italian culture. So it would be quite hard to describe as well for an Italian student.
Very, yeah. You also mentioned slapstick as a kind of physical, like violence kind of comedy. I agree. I'm not a big fan. Another type of comedy I don't really like is cringe comedy. Do you like cringe comedy?
What's cringe comedy, Kate?
So cringe comedy relies on the characters being in really uncomfortable situations. So one of the most famous types was the English TV show The Office. So The Office was all about cringe comedy. To cringe is when you go, you recoil and you go, oh no, I can't watch. Oh God, it's so embarrassing. It's
But
so
at the
difficult.
same
I
time,
can't
it's
watch.
hilarious.
Yeah, you sort of look through your fingers like, I can't. Oh God, I can't look, but I want to. So I like it in a way, but it makes me feel very stressed. So I can only watch a little of like cringe comedy.
See, here you could see Lavinia is a student in Milan, and
Yes,
she's obviously
Lavinia.
used
Yes.
to the Milan teachers and bosses that are all from the UK in one part or another, basically. Sarcasm is
Yes,
my
Lavinia.
favorite style. Uh,
Very good. Yes, brilliant. No, it's very, very important. And it's an important survival technique in England. You must understand sarcasm, or you will imagine everyone is very rude. You will think, oh, English people are so rude. No, probably they are only sarcastic. Probably they really like you, but they are being sarcastic.
And sometimes when my sister and I speak to each other and somebody else is listening, we are so sarcastic to each other that an onlooker, on speaker, on something,
An
a
honor.
passerby, a
Nice, nice.
passerby would not be able to understand if we're telling the truth or if we're just
No.
completely talking lies.
Really? No.
It's
That's fantastic.
fantastic. Never mind
Yes.
when my partner overheard my sister and I speaking, and it was said so. One, nothing was understood at all. The
Okay.
little that was understood, I couldn't
Yes.
tell if you were being serious or not, or if my English was so bad that I just didn't understand what you're talking about. I was like, well, I think it's a bit of a mix of everything, actually.
Yeah, probably a little element of all of those things. Yeah, for sure. That's fantastic. Yes, I have a similar situation sometimes with my sister. Not so sarcastic, perhaps. So that's an extreme situation. Okay,
So,
any other
Kate,
styles of comedy? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. You mentioned we talked about sitcoms, we talked about stand-up, observational. Yeah, it's cool. It's good. Lots of different types.
so the question is, Kate, do you know any jokes?
Yes, I do. And I'm going to
Oh.
tell you one or two,
Guys,
maybe
in the
three.
meantime, if you know any jokes, please write them in the comments. We'll try and get as many up as possible.
Okay, let me. I'm going to type the joke on the chat. So, so I can say the joke, and then you can see the joke, and Giordie can think about the joke, and then I can tell you the answer to the joke. Okay. So the joke is, or the question is, Giordie, what is the difference between a badly dressed man on a bicycle and a well-dressed man on a unicycle?
Oh. All right, guys, if you could help me with this, because this is I don't even know where to start. So we can look at this in many different ways. Um, uh, one's got two wheels, and the other one's.
You're in the right area. Now, before we reveal the answer, Giordie,
Mm.
what's the name for the final line of a joke? The part that contains the funny
Oh,
element.
that one.
There you go.
I,
Poof. It's called a hit. Yes. So it's called a
the,
resolution. Okay. So it's called a punch line. It's called a punch line. And it's the part of a joke which contains the resolution of the joke, and it's the thing that is designed to make you laugh.
in theory.
So, in theory. So, the answer to my joke, the
So,
punchline,
Kate, what is the difference between a badly dressed man on a bicycle and a well-dressed man on a unicycle?
obvious, attire.
Oh dear Lord.
Right? Right? Isn't that brilliant?
Guys, if
So,
you've got
guys,
a balloon right now, like fly away, just go. Just
so Giordie, let's do the thing that nobody likes to do. Let's explain why is this joke funny? What is attire and why is this a punchline?
Okay, so attire, spelled so, is how you dress, how you are presented. So if you
Exactly.
are formal or informal, badly dressed or well dressed, as we said before, attire is clothing. But attire, which Kate is now going to write in the comments now, is the around the wheel. It's the rubber part of the wheel. Okay, so that's why attire, the clothing is different, and attire, there's two wheels and one wheel.
Because the bicycle has
That's
two
the
wheels,
joke.
the unicycle has one wheel. It's such a good joke. It's a brilliant joke. It's fantastic.
I'm really sorry, guys, for all of you listening to this.
I have another joke if you'd like another joke.
Go
Are we
on,
ready?
you take my joke.
Do you have a joke, Giordie?
No, I don't have a joke. I'm not good with jokes.
You decided you came here today to talk about comedy with me, and you didn't bring one joke with you. I'm so
I'm
disappointed.
the joke.
I'm so you are a joke. No, it's not true. You're not. Okay, I will tell you one more joke. Okay, I will tell you one more joke. What? Oh no, this might not be such a good one for our audience. Okay, I have a very stupid joke. Okay. What is black and white and red all over? Now, I cannot write the joke for one good reason. What is black and white and red all over?
Got anything to do with Milan football teams, does it?
It's nothing to do with Milan football teams. Nothing to do with them at all. I'm so sorry.
Black, white, and red all over.
All over. Yes. Guys, if you want a little clue, a little hint, then you must think carefully about a homophone in this joke. So, one word which has different meanings but sounds the same and different spellings. So, one word in this joke has two meanings, but the spelling is different. So, what is black and white and red all over? Giordie, do you give up?
Is
Do you
it a
surrender?
dictionary?
It's not a dictionary, but you're in the right realm. Okay, if I write it out in the chat, Giordie, maybe you could have an idea.
What is black and white and red all over? So what's black and white? Books.
So it's black and white and it's red all over. It's a newspaper. So in this case, it's because, of course, to read, but in general, to read, so in the past, so, or rather, as an adjective, red, and the color red have the same pronunciation. So it's black and white, and you read all over. So it's a newspaper. But when you say it, it sounds like the color red. So there you go. Ah, hi, Lisa. Hi. Lisa will appreciate my jokes. Finally, someone who can appreciate my jokes. Finally. Thank you for coming too.
I've got one, I have to say.
Oh, Lavinia! Yes! Lavinia got it! Oh, yes, Lavinia! You and me! You and me! You and me! Fantastic. Great work, Lavinia. You're much more intelligent than Giordie, clearly. So, well done.
Do you want to know a short and sweet one?
Absolutely.
So I'll put it in my chat.
I
broke my finger last week. On the other hand, I'm okay.
Oh, that's very, very stupid. I like that very much. That's very, very
Yeah.
good. Excellent. Excellent
Short and
joke. Well
sweet.
done. Very good. Congratulations. Wonderful. Okay, well, I think I will save you from further jokes. I think any more jokes and I might
Scratch the
kill somebody. So let's read a joke instead. So Giordie, shall we read this together? How shall we organize?
Okay, well, I suppose if you want to read the majority and then I'll respond.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent. Okay.
So we've got the two voices.
So this is a joke and it's called The Baker and the Farmer. A baker in a little country town bought butter from a nearby farmer. One day, he suspected that the bricks of butter were not full pounds, and for several days he weighed them. He was right. They were short weight, and he had the farmer arrested. At the trial, the judge said to the farmer, "I presume you have scales?"
No, Your Honor.
"Well, then how do you manage to weigh the butter you sell?" inquired the judge. The farmer replied,
That's easily explained, Your Honor. I have balances, and for a weight, I use a £1 loaf I buy from the baker.
"Oh my God."
Now, do you want to try and explain that one, Kate?
Oh my goodness. This is a very, very stupid joke. This is not a funny joke. My jokes were much funnier. Even Giordie jokes were much funnier than this. Okay, so the main joke here, I'm sure you can understand, guys, is that the suggestion is that the baker and the farmer are both dishonest, that they are both not selling the correct weight. This is more or less the joke. So he's being a hypocrite. Okay, shall we move on? Shall we move on to actually a funny joke?
Actually, you know one thing I like sharing at this point, because a lot of people don't know this, and it's a very English thing. It might be a London thing. I don't know.
Okay.
So at the baker, you can ask for one loaf. You can ask for 10 pieces of bread. You can ask for a dozen.
Sure.
So a dozen is 12. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
What's 13? What are 13 pieces of bread?
I don't.
It's not. It's not funny. It's just
No, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Well, even more peculiar then is but 13 is a baker's dozen, right?
It's a baker's dozen.
13 is called a baker's dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know why?
No, I don't. But isn't it called a baker?
So basically, in
yes. Tell us.
13 is a baker's dozen. So back in the days when there were the tax levies and the regulation on bakers, that the bakers were trying to shortchange, we'll put it, the customers by not respecting the weight of a loaf.
Right.
Okay, they would give you 13 instead of when you bought 12. They would give you 13 to ensure that they were over the regulated amount.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. And so that's why it's a baker's dozen. So a baker's dozen, so a dozen is 12 and a baker's dozen is 13, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So cool. That's really interesting. Wow, fantastic. Oh,
anyway, let's go to the
guys.
better joke.
Well, before we do that, let's have a look at some types of humor. So, Giordie, I'll read the names. Would you kindly read the definitions? And we'll work together.
Okay.
So, types of humor. Match the types of humor to its definition. Anecdote, slapstick, satire, spoof, sketch, stand-up, improv, gag/prank.
Okay, and while I'm reading these guys, try to match them up and put them in the chat if you know. So we have mocking imitation, a short amusing story, short comedy scene, exaggerated physical activity, using irony, ridicule, or derision, a one-man show of speaking to a live audience, a mischievous trick on someone, short scenes constructed in the moment from an idea or structure, usually given by the audience. So,
Excellent.
what do we think here?
Okay. So let's start with an anecdote. Giordie, do you tell many anecdotes?
If I have one on hand, maybe, but not really, purely because I kind of confuse things between Italian and English in my brain right now,
Oh
and
no!
they just always come out wrong.
Do you really? Oh no! I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Okay, fair enough.
It's
You
all
can
a
tell
bit.
half in English, half in Italian. We'd love it. It would be wonderful. We'd enjoy it very much.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe not.
do you have an example?
So not necessarily, but I think that probably if we're thinking in this way, if we're explaining what they are, I think Lavinia can probably help us out. Lavinia?
I think you
Yes.
can.
Fantastic. So you're absolutely right, Lavinia. An anecdote is a short, amusing story. So honestly, I am terrible for telling anecdotes. I mean, I tell them all the time. My anecdotes are fantastic, but I tell a lot of anecdotes.
You know someone that may be good. I think we've just had a new entry here. If this is who I think it is.
Hi, Padova Myers. Thank you for joining us. Nice to see you.
Hel-
Do you tell many
Hello.
anecdotes? Excellent. Okay, so what about the next one, Giordie? We spoke about slapstick earlier. So do you have some ideas?
Yes, slapstick, as I was saying, is very Laurel and Hardy. Yeah, which Laurel
Now
and
they have
Hardy in
different
Italian,
names.
they've got
Yes.
different names. They're Staglio e Olio.
Staglio e Olio.
Or something along that.
Yeah, fascinating. Okay.
And in reality, when English people speak in Italian, they don't actually speak like that. I don't think we're that bad.
No, I don't think so.
They've got a very heavy accent.
True. Oh my goodness. Okay. We have offerings from Padova Myers here, so let's have a little look.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Giordie, would you read for us, please?
How do you make an apple puff? You chase it around the garden.
Hey! So why is this funny? Let's dissect this joke. Puff. In this case, to make something puff. What does that mean?
So you can make a puff. So to make it larger, that's why you may have puff pastry as well in cakes, which it expands with air. Or puff when you are out of breath. You. So in this case, you think the apple is going to be part of cooking, but in reality, it's because it's running.
Running around the garden.
And that is how you kill. That's how you kill a joke right there.
That's how you kill a joke. Oh, we've got a great one here. What goes black and white, black and white, black and white? A penguin rolling down a hill. Excellent, very good. Oh wow, Padova is bringing the heat now. We've got a lot of jokes from Padova here. Oh, this is a very good one. What do you call a fish without an eye? Excellent, classic joke there. Excellent, classic English humor. And finally, we also
there we go.
Stupid.
So, what do you call a sheep with no legs? A cloud.
Stupid. Animal cruelty. That's what you call a sheep with no legs. Animal cruelty. Brilliant. Thank you very much,
Lavinia. I have to say, yes, she is very funny. Do not encourage her too much.
No, you'll encourage her. Don't tell her that. Okay, excellent. So I agree with you, Giordie. I think that slapstick, as you said, like Laurel and Hardy, is very physical, very big and exaggerated humor. So what about satire?
Now, what would satire be, Kate?
Yeah. Well, satire, interesting. It comes from, do you know where the word satire comes from?
Is it something to do with satanic?
It
Satan?
actually, well,
Saturday?
there is a connection. There, it comes from a long kind of route. It actually comes from the mythological creature, a satyr, which are famous. They look like half
Okay.
man and half goat. So they have usually a human head and human body, but then they have the legs of a goat. So, and they are called satyrs.
Okay.
People often pronounce it satyr or satyr, but it's satire. And they were famous for also being quite cheeky and using irony and being quite comedic figures in mythology. And actually, yes, it's where the word Satan comes from because yeah, we imagine the same thing, but actually it's to do with comedy. And in my opinion,
Okay.
satire is a specific kind of humor, and it's about using irony. Here we
Well
have
done,
using
Fabrizio.
yes, Fabrizio,
Satire is
fantastic.
using irony. So, on that, spoof. What's a
Mm.
spoof? That's a funny word, isn't it?
So an excellent spoof. I'm going to recommend everyone a spoof in the chat if you can find it. A very very funny English spoof TV show. So it's a TV show and it's called The Day Today, and it is a spoof of the news. It's a spoof of news programs. So a spoof is, please, Geordie.
Sorry, I can't see in here. Um, oh,
So it's
now,
the mocking
would that be
imitation.
a?
That's what
There
it
we
is.
go.
Mocking
So, I mean,
imitation.
if you've seen the scary movie films, yeah, the scary movies
Great
1, 2,
example.
3, 4, and 5,
Yes,
they are
great example.
spoofs of other films. They spoofs of Scream, of whatever else.
Like
Yeah.
horror films. Yeah, yeah,
Now,
for sure.
yeah, they take the mick or they take the Michael.
Oh,
I don't know what you're saying is.
to take
Um,
the pick.
you know, try,
Yeah, is to make fun of. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, absolutely.
now a sketch.
Hmm. A sketch, a sketch, a sketch. So a sketch is not
Now,
a
if you,
full production. It's not the complete show or the complete play.
hmm
A sketch is a small
but
part. It's a short comedy
but
scene.
we have two.
So one sketch.
So it's a small part of a funny situation that makes somebody laugh generally.
Exactly. So
Now,
yeah, things like Monty Python, they do sketches. It's a sketch show. So it's not one long narrative. It's every episode is many, many, many short scenes, and there is no connection between them.
okay, perfect. Now stand up. Don't actually
Stand
stand
up.
up. You
The
know.
clue is in the name. The clue is in the name. When you stand up, you are on your feet. So a stand up is a one-man show of speaking to a live audience. One man or one woman is fine too, but certainly one person with a microphone telling jokes to a live audience.
Perfect. Now improv. It's
Improv.
very much
Now
in the
improv
name.
is exactly. Now this is an abbreviation. What's the full word?
Improvisation, I believe.
There you go. Brilliant.
To
So
improvise.
improvisation or improv is short scenes constructed in the moment from an idea or a structure usually given by the audience. So one of the most famous improv shows of all time is a show called Whose Line Is It Anyway? And if you never saw it, it's amazing. It's one of the funniest shows ever. There is a lot on YouTube. So if you like improvised comedy, then this is a fantastic show.
Okay, so now we're remaining with gag or prank. We'll do it quickly so Kate can get the joke in the last minute.
Oh, what could it be? A mischievous joke, a mischievous trick or joke played on someone, as we said before.
Like we were talking about before about April Fools. So we have 1 minute left. Kate, do you want to, lead us on with a bang?
Oh, I lead us on with a bang. Do you mean
Lead
another
us on.
joke? Shall we finish with one
Yeah,
more joke?
the final.
Let's have
Let's
one more
finish
joke.
finish on a bang.
Okay. All right. So shall we read again in tandem, Giordie? Would you like to start?
Yes, perfect. So, three drunks in a taxi. Three drunk guys enter a taxi. The driver realizes they are drunk, so he starts the engine, waits a few minutes, and then turns it off again, saying, "We have reached your destination." The men climb out. The first man pays the driver. The second man says,
Thank you.
the third man walks over to the window and slaps the driver across the face. "What was that for?" exclaims the driver.
The man replies, "Control your speed next time, you nearly killed us."
And
my
on
God.
that note, guys, thank you
Stupid.
very much for having us. Thank you, Kate, for a great webinar.
Thank you so
Have a
much,
lovely
Giordie.
day. And remember, there are webinars for every level, every day, 9 till 9, Monday to Friday.
All right.
What do you
Thanks so
call a
much.
DIY? No idea.
No idea.
Bye,
No
guys.
idea. Thanks, Padma. Thanks, guys. See you again soon. Bye bye.
Have a good day. Bye. Bye.